Hey guys, I've been obsessed with giving people a roof to live under for a very, very low cost because it's one of the human needs, right? If you check Maslow's hierarchy of needs, yeah, we need a roof, to protect ourselves from element, from the weather, and the dangers. And right now, I mean, this industry has not been disrupted in quite a while. There's a huge opportunities. It's mostly restrained by laws and cartels, because construction is pretty much the easiest thing you can do as a man. You have the muscles, and it's pretty simple to build a house, to glue it and staple it and nail it together. All things considered equal. So, and yeah, with the market trends right now, the price of wood and all of these things, it's getting pretty chaotic and very negative experience to build a house from the close ones that I have observed recently trying to build a house. So for the consumer, it's pretty bad. It's also very fucking expensive. Canada, a new house like minimum 300K, and that's not including the time you spend building it and so forth. And the why behind it, yeah, there's crappy laws. So I'll get to the first idea here, which is not that revolutionary, but it is for the homeowners to build their actual home and participate. But yeah, you need cards and so forth. But thought that was kind of cool, because looking at some of my close ones, they would have loved to save a 50K and just work on their house for 6 to 12 months, if that is possible, or 20 or 30K or anything. Actually, spend a bit of time and learn in the process. It's like win for the customer, and for the house constructor maybe a bit less win, but we could figure something out. Not revolutionary idea, but coming back to my point, and that's the real revolutionary thing. For quite some time, I've been thinking, yeah, to build a house for $100, build a house for $500. This idea, I mean, I'm putting 2,000 there, which would still make it possibly massively profitable for a company that could come up with that type of technology. But I mean, the price point, if you wanted to make a very profitable business, could be even $20,000. Imagine how game changing that would be. You take a house that, yeah, minimum 300K, $300,000, and make it now $30,000. I mean, yeah, we've seen cool trends, in the pre-fabric home, but it's just not satisfying. And I mean, I won't say this idea is incredible. Probably a bunch of other folks had that idea, but it's just thinking counterintuitively. Why do we have to build houses from the ground up? Why not dig them? So let's read a bit more here. So yeah, this is the machine. Hope you got my childlike drawings here. Here's a bigger version of it. And yeah, you would call this machine, this would be a bot, obviously. There would be like solar panel on the roof here. And basically it would be fully electric. This thing, it would be bought, it would come, and you would have to buy the land, which will always suck. It's controlled by governments, the land. So you'll always pay a bunch for that. So, but apart from this, you have the land, and obviously there will be the permit, which is again the fucking government, always putting his dirty hands in what they shouldn't touch. But yeah, you'll probably need to have municipal permits, how deep you can dig. And I mean, it kind of makes sense because right under here, sometimes there's water, and the sewers and all that, and or electrical wires. So don't want to dig too deep, and that idea would make a lot of sense in other contexts, in other scenarios, in off the grid terrains and so forth. But anyway, I'm just gonna go on here with the concept. By the way, this could also be a drone eventually, so it could be flying this thing so that it could reach like very remote location throughout the world. And yeah, it could dig a hole anywhere. Just that this thing here is like supposed to weigh a shit ton, but yeah, it could be lightweight. It could be made out of carbon fiber, for example, and the saw could be made out of very lightweight material. But anyway, just to go on with the idea here, basically it's this machine, and it digs a hole in the ground. It's a circular machine, so it turns, so you don't want to get in the way. By the way, we would invent something to move the beautiful critters and animal away from that thing, because they would get like totally wrecked, so I don't like plant something in the ground. It would make a sound, and it would repel the beautiful animals living there, the rats, the mole, and everything that is underground. But anyway, it would dig a hole in the ground. That hole could go very, very deep, and that's the future of housing. Like we could we could go like 10 meters deep in there. By the way, you will notice some trends with Elon Musk, in that idea. He started digging holes for many reasons. It's not only to save LA traffic. Elon is very good at making PR his thing, and saving the humanity kind of narrative. While I mean, there's a lot of self-serving stuff in there, just that his ego has got and a bit out of control. But basically, yeah, this thing would dig holes, and it could make rooms inside the whole thing. So a room there would be tubes going up for oxygen, also to collect water. But yeah, the house would be underground. And now you might ask why. Apart from the cost, because I would charge like, I don't know, probably $2,000 to do that. And well, let me finish the last part here. After digging, so that there would be a mechanism that would either spill the ground out of that digging drill here, and or a machine inside that heats the whole ground, and converts it in some kind of concrete or like heavy material, so that we can build the walls, and make them solid. So yeah, that would be the whole invention here. And yeah, you could build a house for a fraction of the cost. Another why, and there's so many whys to that. I'm just getting to the top of them, is yeah, basically resistance to elements, tornadoes, hurricanes, uh, snow, like how many fucking roofs have gone damaged, water infiltration, and so forth. Although yeah, that it can be sometimes worse in basements, the water infiltration, but I think we got that narrowed down. Nuclear wars, which in the future will be a thing, so all of these houses, like, no need to fucking worry about this nuclear holocaust, like you will be nuclear proof. You will be prepper type of people, which also goes to my to that movement. So the entrance here would be very secure. And yeah, that's, believe it or not, that's a trend. Also, these houses would be obviously fully sustainable. There would be like solar panels, um, water systems, because it's in the ground, so the water can be taken from many sources in the ground. Less wear and tear, like I mentioned, from the elements. Temperature control, as the global temperature rises, like shit's gonna start to happen. Not only like more deluge, more storms and everything, but yeah, we'll get like way hotter and way colder. So yeah, so that would be like the idea here. And yeah, I think it's it's kind of yes, it is far-fetched, but I like stating the Silicon Valley effect and the VC effect of how Uber was created, or how Airbnb was created in the matter of just a couple of years. What us humans can achieve with sufficient capital and brain power is just limitless, So if a VC decides to drop, 100 mil, um, and like in a pre-seed to build, I mean, there would be like various iterations of the concept. But let's say 100 million to build the machine first, and obviously there would be a bunch of sub services, and there would be like recurring services to these specific bunker type of houses. But and that there would rely the business model, it would be like a monthly thing. So to build the house, we provide what they need like very quickly, right? And once we have that, then we can have them pay a monthly subscription, or we can even like finance the whole thing. But yeah, would be this humongous company. So let's 100 million pre-seed, 150 million seed, and on and on. It would be a very complicated startup to build. But the advantage that I see here, apart from the mercantile part of it, the banker side of it, the money side of it, for me, is this obsession to build a house for people, or build a roof for very cheap. It's a fundamental human need. We cracked the food code. Now we have food for very cheap, but it's still very expensive to build a house. By the way, yesterday I listened an Off the Grid um, YouTube series, and they built on lands that weren't owned by anyone. So basically, they built it on wheels. Their little house. But basically, with this here, it would be so cheap that you could just go on a random terrain, dig your hole, and have your house there for bang on the buck, or however they call that. So you wouldn't even need to pay for the property. I guess it depends on the world laws. But yeah, what do you think about that idea? That's a pretty wild one, but I want to make housing incredibly affordable for people.